Thank you for joining us today for another exclusive interview sponsored by Hemovit. Help your horses reach their maximum potential with Hemovit's line of natural homeopathic products. I'm your host today, Aurelian Drumia. Today, we are honored to have Niels Petersen, an 11-time Norwegian champion trainer and a legend of Scandinavian racing, joining us. With his move to Dubai as a locally licensed trainer, Niels is setting the stage for a transformative chapter in his career. From his impressive Dubai string, including the exciting Warsocks, to pioneering strategies that adapt Scandinavian horses to golf racing, we'll dive into his plans for the Middle East and beyond. Stay tuned for an inspiring conversation about determination, innovation, and the future of international racing. Well, first of all, Niels, great to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
After 11 Norwegian Trainers Championship and multiple Oslo Cup victories, what prompted you to finally, take that step of establishing a permanent yard in Dubai?
Little bit is that we come down here for the carnival over years. I think we've done okay with our horses, but we come down at an unfortunate time of the year for us, and it hasn't really always sportsly reach like sort of what expectations and what you want to do. So I said to my owners, if we're going to keep doing this, we have to change the program, change the strategy of the thing. And of course, it's a matter of you want to challenge yourself as well. So I said, let's jump in the deep end and we try something new. So and luckily I got owners which supportive and said, okay, let's do it. So we took a huge step, and with the Dubai Racing Club's help, we got a stable down here, and so far so good. We're here, we're trying.
You are indeed quite a good challenge, definitely. I think personally and also work-wise, pretty good.
Yeah.
You mentioned.
Sorry. No, I said that to do what we do, I mean, the challenge of it is also that we have, like here, just a half a year season. So when we come like 1st of November, nothing happens until end of April. So it's a sort of a challenge, of course, but it's also a natural sort of challenge, we can say, because it gives us to do something in a space where we got nothing to do else, So it was sort of easy to persuade people.
You mentioned challenges, of bringing horses from Scandinavian's harsh winter to Dubai in the past. How has having, a dedicated yard at Blue Stables changed your approach to winter campaigning?
When we came to the carnival before, we were sort of always due to come here at mid-December, which lets the weather in Scandinavia gets very harsh, cold, snow. The horses they put the coat on, they sort of go into a different mode, fall out of form a little bit. Then we come down here in December. Then we sort of got to swing this around, and it takes time. And horses are living animals. I mean, they relate to weather, temperatures, the different climate changes, and it always takes a little bit of time to settle in. And the big difference this year is that before we start to run horses just before Christmas, we've been here since 4th of November, and it sort of made a whole different approach to it. Horses are well. They're better trained, basically, because we haven't had the long dip we normally would have. I mean, we can be, like the last couple of times I've been for the carnival, maybe the last 3-4 weeks before coming here, we've been trotting because track is frozen. So it gives us definitely a whole different approach to the whole winter, definitely, yeah.
I can imagine. And your strategy of keeping horses fresh, and deliberately bypassing some races back home to maintain that lower handicap marks is quite intriguing. How did you end up, developing this approach?
No, but it's not to sound arrogant in any way, but we sort of done everything in Scandinavia. We won everything many times, and by all means, I love to win any race. But
for sure,
here it's not easy. So you have to plan ahead to have success here, and it's hard, and it's not even sure we're gonna make it, but we're gonna try. So therefore, make a long-term plan for some of the horses where we say we skip that, we keep them fresh to come here. Our better horses, we sort of packed away in early September, gave them a good little, just a little rest before traveling out here. So, of course, we sacrificed something that would probably have been easier, but on the other hand, it's all about challenges now and again. So that's a bit of the idea, and then it's also a matter of how much you race them. I mean, any trainer knows that. Every race is that's one less in the future. So you cannot run them 10 times during the summer and then think you're going to come down here and run 10 times. That's not going to work. So in that case, we're looking after the horses with the ones we're trying to target here.
It's a bit of an experiment in a way.
It is. I mean, it's good fun. I mean, it's easy when you're on a race course and you enter a race on the weekend. You start and you go home and you won. Maybe you were second and you go again next week. So here's there's a bigger picture. It's a lot of planning, a lot of logistics. It hasn't only been horse-wise challenge to do this. It's been quite a long journey, to be honest. It's been a lot of hiccups and things you took for granted, which wasn't like that, and the opposite. It's been eventful. You can say that.
Excellent. With Warsocks being specifically purchased and kept and raised for Dubai campaign, what gives you the confidence, to adopt such a bold strategy with a 115,000 euro yearling?
Yeah, no, they're very game owners. They have two horses with me, Warbear, who ran fourth in the Dubai Stakes the other day, and then Warsocks here. Warsocks is unexposed, of course. It's a fast horse. There's a lot to like about him, but of course, he runs first coming Friday here, and it's going to be a tough race for him. It's good horses there, so we don't expect big things on Friday, but we believe bigger things going to come in the future. But of course, I would have loved to go on a normal, simple maiden race, and that's of course, in the time you're here, the quality of the racing is very high, so there's no sort of easy approach to anything, and with this fella here, I believe he has a big future. But on Friday, I think he's in the deep end, and he will come out of it as a stronger and better horse, and we'll be looking forward for the next time. This is a learning curve, but he's a horse that we decided with the owners we were gonna give him time to mature, to come here. He had a bit of temperament. He was a little bit of a hard 2-year-old, like. So we left him for this, and I still believe in the project, but on Friday, I'm afraid that we might have a few horses in front of us. But then again, he will come out strong on the other side.
Fair enough. And among your Dubai strengths, we've seen Warsocks have his first trial and Queen Azteca place in the Shahama Stakes. Which of your horse do you feel could make the biggest impact this season?
I must say it's Queen Azteca is a horse which is she's a proper dirt horse. She in Shahama Stakes she was too short for her. She came up a bit short, like, but she will improve from distance going up to 16, and even for the Oaks. And then it's a well-known fact that maybe the 3-year-old fillies on dirt is normally not the strongest batch, even though nothing is easy. But I guess there's if you have a 1,600-meter mile on dirt, it's very, very tough here. If you have a 2,000-meter plus horse on the turf, it's very, very tough here. So we are, of course, trying to target some areas where history tells us it might be a little bit easier to gain something, like a better results. And I believe Queen Azteca is, in my belief, a proper UAE Oaks horse. So we hope, keeping fingers crossed for her.
Sure.
I think she might be the one that could maybe put it properly on the map.
Wow, excellent. You're bringing 8 or 9 2-year-olds to Dubai, including some you describe as the best horses in Scandinavia. What makes them stand out from, previous juveniles you've trained in the
past? I mean, first of all, they've all been carefully bought. We spend a lot of time buying them. different auctions as yearlings and a few of the breeze-ups, and we sort of, with the owners, of course, willingness, because they have to pay for these horses.
Right.
we selected, I think, my agent Edgar Byrne and I think we believe we have selected good horses for Scandinavia for the summer coming, and also horses like Queen Azteca, Warsocks, and we have a on-race the Factor Colt, which goes Mr. Pirelli, which is also a horse I believe in a lot. And these horses are, of course, a little bit earmarked to come here with the dirt pedigree, whereas a few of the other ones, we got a lovely horse called Great Tycoon and Acapulco Sunrise on race, but they're turf horses. And some of the owners also put the horses here as an investment for the upcoming season in Scandinavia. Not all of the horses we have here is target to run the best here, in the sense that a few of them is left also to come down for the training over the winter. We'll probably give them 1 or 2 runs before they go home to peak at the Scandinavian season. So it's a little bit mixed, which actually I appreciate a lot from the owner side, because it's a big investment to bring the horses here. But on the other hand, it's going to give them a huge advantage coming back to Scandinavia.
Definitely. And talking more about Chianti, it's an interesting inclusion in your Dubai team. What encouraged you to bring him, and what are your plans for him this season?
He runs on Friday in a handicap here over 1,800 meters. First time out, he's highly handicapped, 107, and he will have a tough task here to run to 107. He's a horse that had a lot of success back in Scandinavia this year. And actually, it's a fantastic story about him is that he was down here from 2 to 3 years old, and he got loose in the morning and fell over and actually fractured something in his neck, like not a vertebra, but it's in the neck, a bone in his neck, and he was stood in the box for 6-7 weeks, and we were not even sure to get him back to Scandinavia, and that's like 3 years ago. So he's been through the hard weather, but he's a genuine tough horse. He likes to run up on the pace, and that's of course is a very on the grass here. It's a challenging spot to be, because they will always finish fast here on the turf, and so he's. But then again, he's a horse you earned a lot of money. The owner said, well, "Okay, well, let's bring him down, we'll give him a few runs, and keep him taken for the upcoming season back home." So he's probably going to have a couple of runs, and he's also entered in the international handicap in Saudi, in Riyadh for the Saudi Cup Day, which being Norwegian trainer, really, then we allowed to go into the international handicap, and he would definitely be a horse. Him and another horse I got here called Mozart, which are both horses that would suit the criteria of that race. It's up to 110 and a turf race. So that's an option along the road.
Excellent. So it appears you have bigger plan than just Dubai, mostly in the region.
We entered a few horses into Qatar at the big day there in February, and the same the week after in Saudi. But on the other hand, you have plenty of races here, but the tough task here, and what sort of encouraged you to go to Saudi Arabia is because you have the international handicap, which you don't meet all the English and French and American horses, and so that could be a target, yeah.
Excellent. The Blue Stables setup seems, impressive. How does the training environment compare to your Norwegian base, and what advantages does it offer?
It's a non-comparison whatsoever. Here, everyone knows it's a fantastic establishment here. Stable-wise, everything is nice. Facilities, training, different tracks, different surface. Everything here is made on behalf of the horses. Makes it very great for us trainers, of course. Scandinavia is a bit different. I'm in Oslo, in Norway. We all train at the track. We have one sand track, which is about 1,300 meter round, sort of a small track, undulated, and that's it. We have nothing else. So I have a lot of colleagues I got to know over the years, and they all shake their heads. How the bloody hell do you manage to train the horses there? Like so, but you have to use what you have, and through the years, it's worked out fine though. But
That's pretty
so coming
incredible.
here, having different options is, of course, it is nice. I mean, of course it is. It gives you an option to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Yeah, and that's a
That's
big
probably
plus.
at the best level you can do, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Swimming, canoeing, whatever you want, what surface, it's absolutely fantastic.
that's amazing.
Mm.
You've mentioned that Scandinavian racing quality, has improved while
Mm.
numbers have actually declined. How has
It
this
is.
influenced, your bloodstock purchasing strategy for both Dubai and home campaigns?
It's been challenging because, like I said, numbers have gone down. People are not buying as much as they did before. My next crop of yearlings coming up now, which is two now, is less. I mean, it's a smaller group than I have this last year at the same time, and especially the import part. We have like what we call a Scandinavian local program for Scandinavian bred horses, and that is very much alive in Scandinavia. People like it. It's a lot of money for the local bred horses. You can compare a little bit to France, where they have the
Yeah.
French premiums. We got the system in Norway, in Scandinavia. It's a lot of money, and a lot of people tend to want to buy Scandinavian horses, whereas I'm a little bit, yes, of course, I need my Scandinavian horses, but I also need the other ones, because I have my ambition or dream to come here. So I'm always looking at sort of 50-50, like a bit of each, if you can say it like that. So that has been the downfall this autumn. We didn't buy as many yearling as we wanted to. Hoping the spring or the winter, early spring here is going to give us a bit of success, and maybe we can encourage owners to go back up to the pre-subs, and we might be looking again at next winter. That's what I'm hoping. Then we see if we're going to succeed with it. But that's definitely a target. If we succeed with what we got here, then we know what we're after, and then, or maybe we find out what we need to have success here, and then that could be like a springboard to maybe invest in more horses at the pre-sub sales.
For
But
sure.
like I said, numbers have gone down in Scandinavia. Numbers horses in training has come down, which they have many places. But the quality is, like I always say when people ask me about Scandinavian racing, I say it's the money is very good for the level of racing, because
Okay.
you see whenever we come here with Scandinavian horses, like which is handicapped from back home to come here, there will always be a few pounds, too highly rated when they come here, which means that our standard is not as high, of course, but money-wise, good price money. Yeah.
Definitely, for sure.
Mm.
Given your early experiences, this season, what adjustment are you planning to make to your Dubai operation going forward?
Actually, I think we sort of found a nice rhythm.
Okay.
Like I've been here so many years for the carnival, so we know a little bit what we're going to. Biggest difference is, like I said before, we came down earlier. The horses were acclimatized a lot better. You always get through a little time, a little bit of coughing, a little bit of mucus, and all these things have sort of settled in. They're all past it. They're all on retrieving and going forward. So that's probably the biggest advantage by coming early, of course. Now I'm trying. We had the first run on Jebel Ali yesterday. New experience, new track. Interesting, and it gives us a little bit of feel about, do we have other horses that could potentially go there, because this is a different kind of racing, of course. So it's still a learning curve, but until now, I think horses has been running. We haven't had many runners yet, but they're all running fair. They're all running. They're all galloping over the line. They're not stopping. They're not sort of not there. They're all progressing, which is always a good sign. They haven't maybe run to the full potential yet, but then we're on the way, and it's always a good sign. I guess any trainer would agree with me. As long as the horse is galloping over the line, there'll be improvement. And I think that's been sort of the line in all our starters. They've all been galloping over the line, and that's I think we're on the right track with them, to be honest.
Excellent. And changes can always come later anyway. I mean, I'm sure, a learning process through
It is. You have
seeing.
to pick up some things, and you will probably look back, say, "Oh, sure, I could never have done that," or opposite. Why didn't we do this, and why didn't we? So of course we're going to learn on the way, and like I say, any new move you make, you have to adjust to it, and you have to learn from it. And we're learning every day. So.
Perfect. On to the last question, Niels. You carry the hopes of Scandinavian racing in Dubai. How do you balance those expectations with the practical challenges, of establishing new yards?
Yeah, but Scandinavian is like any other environment in the world, I guess. Some people is always looking at you like, oh, you're not, your horses are not good enough for this, they're not good enough for that. Some say, they wish you all the best. It's the way it is, and of course, there's a lot of supporters and a lot of people wants to, to see you succeed. And then of course you got people that thinks I'm in over my head, like, but I guess in general, I think that most of the Scandinavian racing society is following us, and we have some good websites back home that follow racing, and they're very good at, I speak to them before races, after races. So all info is going to be on the sites, on the internet back home, and social media. So people are keeping up to date, and every race day there will be like sort of a small preview written for our runners, and so I hope it can include more people, and in the future maybe more people take the chances to come here. But it does cost money, and you cannot come here being sure you're going to win money. So again, a learning curve. Maybe we could put the standard for how it could be done in the future. That's I hope it can be a continuous thing, and we will hopefully come again next winter. That's of course my plan.
Excellent. Do you think the interest into horse racing is growing in Scandinavia? I know in the Middle East it's expanding so fast. What do you think of Scandinavia in general?
I mean, Middle East, we cannot keep up with the pace of that because that's exploding down here.
Sure.
Back home, it's just not at the same level whatsoever. It's a lot of people do follow racing, but there's a few business related things with horses in Scandinavia. It's not the same as anywhere else. Like, we don't really have a second-hand market. You go to England, to France, come here, you have a horse, whatever owner, Godolphin, my owner, or whoever, your horse. You have it for 2 years, and you think, well, maybe it's time to move on, and there's a market for it. We don't have that in Scandinavia. They will become ride horses or something. That meaning that maybe, yeah, I mean, for every horse getting bought into Scandinavia, most of the owners will just look at it. Well, I bought the horse; those money are spent. They never look at a resale value. And I think that's one of our biggest problems in Scandinavia when it comes to racing. There's no, I wouldn't say no way out, but there's no potentially economic approved way out.
Sure, I understand.
I wouldn't walk in, I mean, nobody will walk into my yard and buy Chianti, for instance. Nobody would ever do that. But if I was training in England, you will have two neighbors knocking on your door to buy him. Would not happen in Scandinavia. And that's an extremely big challenge for the Scandinavian racing society, and I think that it's never been a thing, and we have one auction a year, yearlings. That's it. No auction for race horses, and again, people won't be buying, and that's a massive problem.
For sure, it seems quite challenging, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely because people to go and buy a horse in England is easy. We buy the horse, we take it home. You want to buy two horses. One is good, the other one might not live up to the expectations. Okay, let's sell him, move on, go to the next one. You have nobody to buy, and that's a shame. Not even the good horse, and that I believe is if we could get that mentality changed and get enough people involved to understand that horses can be bought from other stables and still be good horses, then we'll come a long way. And that meaning that so all the horses getting bought, they disappear out of racing when an owner, like you say, and that is the problem. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why numbers go down.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
That's a
so much.
political toll.
Thank you very much for the conversation. That was great.